Hi, everybody. I'm Linda Brubaker, and this is Career Search Lunch and Learn. And we know that this is probably the one meeting of the week that you would rather not attend. We know that you don't really want to be here. And our goal is to give you the tips and the tricks and the tools and the networking support to help you move from this room to your next forever job or next forever career. We're here to support you in any way that we can. I'm a career search or career transitions coach, and I've actually been doing this for the last 8 years. And prior to that, I was in HR for well over 20 years. One of these days, I may actually tell you how many years, but I'm not ready to do that yet. In any event, um, long enough, I've been an HR business partner, I've been a hiring manager, I've been a recruiter, I've managed recruiters, and I've been an executive search consultant, what we used to call back in the day a headhunter. So the information that we provide you in these sessions is based on not just that knowledge, that experience, but also all the research that we're doing, the way we continue to connect with people in our industry, people who are also recruiters, with hiring managers, with people in the HR field, to make sure that the information that we're giving you is up to date, is really what's out there now, and that we can give you the support that you need in order to move there. This is my give back. I do this every week, and I've been doing it now for the last 8 years. But in addition, I also work with some of you individually, and that's the way that I fund my business here. So if you want to do that, my only sales pitch is this. I'm going to add my information into the chat. If you'd like to talk with me, please do. But I also want to remind you that if you just want to reach out for any reason, if you just want a quick chat, please do. No charge for that. We really want to be here to support you in any way that we can. And I'm really happy that Sue and Ken have agreed to join us for this to be able to provide their expertise. So I'm going to let them, share sorry about that, Ken, share their information and get started. Yeah, so sometimes technology is your friend. Sometimes it takes somebody who's technologically savvy. And today, apparently, I wasn't. Go right ahead.
Ken, go ahead. Last week you were Woman Goes First, so let's do
Okay, sure.
Male Goes First today.
Hi, I'm Kenneth Lang here in Northern New Jersey. I just recently started a different position at Lee Act Harrison. I'm now officially a career counselor. What that basically means is I'll be doing one-on-one training for those in transition as opposed to doing group branding sessions and no more resume reviews. I come here to support Linda and Sue, and a couple of things I've been doing at the same time. First of all, I just started a new position with the state of New Jersey working with small business owners, which is another labor of love. And call me crazy, but as of yesterday morning, I was volunteered to actually help my temple build their website. So, well, yeah, that's a whole separate issue entirely. Um, but no, seriously, I love to pay it forward that way. But one of the things that it does is it gives me insight into what's going on. And this week I've done a lot of experimenting, whether you've caught it or not. I actually did a post about LinkedIn, putting different pictures, different frames behind there. And I've been part of a discussion with Adrienne Tom about size of resumes. She's doing her end of the year suggestions for the resume changes and things for next year. So again, this is just we're all learning as we go, and we have a coaches call next week, Monday night, 7 o'clock. Our goal is to help you brainstorm the best way possible in this environment. So Sue, take it away.
Thanks, Ken. I agree with Ken and Linda. Maybe you don't want to be here, but showing up is the first act of you being ready to accept new information, listen to us, listen to your peers. We're all looking at what you all are doing. As Ken said, it's the ground truth right now. But in addition to that, I want to commend you all. I am the mentor with Pom Poms. Linda, we have two full screens for me, was 50 people on video. I think that's one of the largest crowds lately we've had. So congrats to you all for having video. Obviously, you can turn it on and off if you have to have your lunch or if someone comes in, whatever. But it was nice to start and scroll through two screens. Just want you to remember that Ken alluded to this. This is your professional development, but the reason you come here is to get guidance because Linda, Ken, many of us that you may go to meetings with or see posts on LinkedIn, we're giving you the real deal. This is what we're hearing right now. And even from 3 months ago, things have changed, not dramatically, but there are big tweaks you should be making to your resume to catch the attention of the people who scroll down the left-hand margin, your best friend. You want to make sure you're catching their attention with making sure you're writing to the other side of the convo or speaking in interviews and networking. All right. Thanks, Linda, for letting us have some time.
Absolutely. Okay, so what we're going to do, if you're new to the group, I really appreciate you being here. Happy to have you here. Sorry, having trouble getting, as I said, technology is not my friend this morning. There we go. Okay. So just a couple of quick rules before we get started. If you have a question, please put the word question all in caps as Lisa did, so that we remember that we can reach out to you. And if you want to put a word or two, if we don't get to you today, we want to make sure that we can follow up, okay, if it's not there. If you are new to the group, please put that all in caps as well. And more importantly, I also want to make sure that you are telling us what you want to know, what you want us to focus in on. Okay, we're at the end of the year. I'm planning now for December and into January and the beginning of the year. We don't have that. I can't believe I'm saying this. We don't have that many sessions left before 2026. It's approaching rapidly. So we want to make sure that these really work for you. So if you have a topic or a speaker, please, again, put that all in caps in the chat so that we can reach out to you afterwards. For those of you who are new, you may not know this, but one of the things we do is we make sure that we give support. I'd love to be able to have those people who had a quick win, please raise your digital hand so that you can share that win and we can celebrate with you. All right, Stacy.
Are you able to hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. I had a screening interview last week, Thursday, and I guess it went well because I have a 2-hour technical interview tomorrow afternoon, which I'm excited and verified. So wish me luck. I've been getting ready, whatever that means. So we'll see how it goes. And of course, now I'm coming down with some illness, so I'm sure I'm gonna sound like this or worse tomorrow. It'll be what it is. So
You'll be your authentic self, and that's important.
yeah, I already wrote a couple little post-its for myself, and I put them on the sides of my terminals and my screens, and hopefully they'll help me remain calm, which is what I wrote down, and to be confident. And that's my number one issue is confidence. So I'm hoping I can hold it together.
Excellent. I'm sure you will. Perfect. Congratulations. Let us know and let us know how we can support you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Erin.
Thank you. Nice to see so many familiar faces. I always am sad when I miss it and I'm not able to come because it does feel very supportive. I just had a screening interview for a job that I applied to a few days ago and a couple other things in the mix of showing interest, as well as the job I've been waiting on for months from my previous company finally moving to the next stages. I had to do a weird video thing yesterday as the screening, but several things in the pipeline, so feeling more hopeful than I have in recent times.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And by the way, it looks like we're in the same office.
I know.
Those of you who asked questions about virtual backgrounds, a virtual background is not a bad thing sometimes, but you have to make sure that when you're doing it, it is the right virtual background and your lighting is right so that you're not fading in and out of the screen, okay, as you talk. And I found that this one is a pretty good one. Nice to see you agree. Hey, Jennifer. You have to unmute.
But
There you go.
got it. Okay, yeah.
Zoom is challenging on older computers. So yeah, it was a very quiet September, but October was very more active. I had 3 second interviews, 2 turned into third interviews. And I was able to accept an offer.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. It was an assertive opportunity, and I took it because it's been quiet again. And then a third interview turned out great. I was ready to go with this position, but then something happened and they changed the offer. So it's been it's been difficult, but I was able to get one much longer than I expected. But I should be starting Monday if all goes well.
That's
So
great. That's awesome.
thank you for this class. It has definitely been supportive and helpful. I've learned a lot, and if things change, I am now more trained. So
Absolutely.
I definitely learned a lot during these classes. So thank you for always supporting it. So
You're very welcome. So
thank
tell us a
you.
little bit about the job. You mentioned it was an assertive job. I don't know what that means.
Oh, they were assertive to get me an offer. So I had a second interview. It's a position I'm familiar with, so I'll be going back to a different title. But they were assertive to get me an offer. So I don't want to say aggressive because it sounds a little too, I guess aggressive, but they were assertive to get me an offer, and I said, within a week. So it
Wow.
moved very fast. Yes. Yes, they really wanted me, and it moved really fast. So
So can you tell us how you found the job?
well, I don't know who's all in the group, so I was just being a little discreet about it though, but
No, I mean, did you apply directly? Did you have
oh
a
yes,
network?
eventually the job became an external application, and I applied and they knew me. So I was able to get on board quickly.
Very good. So that's another way of reminding you folks that yes, networking helps, but
Yes.
don't pull out of a job search because you think that you can't apply directly. You can.
Yes.
And applying directly really does work. Okay. In addition, got that networking contact, it helps to add to it, but congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It through the networking, yes, I was able to get this one. It wasn't external for a while, it was internal. Then it became external, and then I was a top candidate. So it moved very quickly, and I'm very happy for that because it has definitely been a long stretch, much longer than I expected. And the market is definitely up and down. It has goods and bads. September was very dark, and this impacted me a lot, but I've come out on the other side. So I'll be good for this year. So thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing with us. Any other quick wins? Okay. Perfect.
Linda, we have 3 questions when you're ready to
Perfect.
take
We're
them.
ready now.
So let me just tell you the order. David Pryor, Danielle S., and Julie Marder, I believe it was. So those are the order that
And I
they
saw that,
submitted them.
Right. And Lisa also had just the word
Oh,
question.
Lisa, even before. So start
Yep.
with Lisa
I'm
and
gonna
then
start with
those
Lisa.
3. And a new person, Kristen Lambert, just joined. So
Excellent. Okay. So Kristen, we'll get to you in just a minute, but let's start with this.
Hello, everybody. I sent out a resume to a city, so it's a municipality position in media. I know the person that had the position moved up into a manager position or whatever it's called. So she's trying to fill that position. I know her. I know of her. I've met her before. I know her mother. And she is aware that I had applied for the job. The position closes on the 15th. I'm wondering, I know that I need to send her a connection request because we're only second because of her mother. So what do you suggest?
So go ahead, Sue.
I was just going to ask a question about the position again. Is your question that you aren't sure if you should apply? Is your,
No.
what is the question about
Right.
specifically the org and what this position is?
The position is for the city of Ferndale. It's a communication specialist position.
Oh,
I applied at the end of last month. I have not, I mean, I have not contacted this person that I know is the manager. So
Mm,
I need to do that. Okay,
yes, you do.
okay.
And if,
I didn't
and
want to be pushy.
no, if nothing else, what you do is you say, hey, I've applied for this role. I'd really appreciate it if you take a look. I'm looking forward to to a conversation.
And even
All you
Okay.
have to say.
even using a LinkedIn connection request is that way to get in, like as a reminder, just another way to follow up.
Exactly.
Okay,
Okay. And that message that I gave you works as an email. It works as a connection request. It works as a DM.
okay.
and maybe
Thank you.
add one line. I'll let Ken and Linda think if this is too early, but you might add one line like, I live nearby Ferndale and have seen what your community's doing, or, something that sort of alludes to the idea that you're also in a suburb, not right in downtown, or whatever may be a selling point for this in terms of that.
Are you
That's
in?
actually a great idea.
I would
Yep.
go online and see, like on their website there, if you can find out something that's going on in the town that you can actually correlate to some event or something
Right.
that'll show that you're even that much more
Okay.
interested.
Yeah.
In
Okay,
fact, if you've attended anything there recently, okay, or if you
Okay.
added something to your calendar, that's another way of making that stand out.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. That's
And
great. Thank you.
by the way, one more thing. If they do have some postings on LinkedIn about some of the things that are going on, comment on some of that. Hey, this looks like a really great event. I've just added it to my calendar.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
They'll
you.
see that too. Absolutely. Okay. David, were you next?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my question is about video interviews. If they give you 5 minutes to answer a question, should you use all 5 minutes or should you leave some wiggle room? And is there a limit on how much revising you can do? Do they keep track of that? Like how many times you edit or resubmit a video?
Okay. Ken or Sue, do you have?
Well, my sense would be 5 minutes answering one question begins to sound like blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
I'm just saying it gets long. I think you should try to stick to 2 minutes, no more. Answer the question and just say at the end, like we do in interviews, happy to add more detail, etc. I don't know enough about these, about revising. I'm sure if you're saying I'm not happy with this version, let me answer again. They are checking it internally, but what they do with it, I don't know. I'm not sure the hiring manager would see all
Okay, so
versions or
so
something.
if they ask you one question in a 5 minute period, you just leave it to 2 minutes. But what if they ask you to answer multiple questions in a 5 minute period?
Well, then
Then-
then allocate your time carefully. If it's more than 2 minutes each, if it's more than two questions or three questions, you're going to be trying to talk fast and fast. So just think about, literally take 10 seconds before you start talking, which I need to remind myself to do, and then go.
So here's the thing about video interviews. I hate them personally. Okay. Because you're sitting there talking to a blank screen and you don't know who or what's on the other end. Or when somebody, if there's actually going to be a real person looking at those. But here are a couple of tricks. If they're giving you 5 minutes to answer the question, what you want to do is 5 minutes, I agree, is absolutely much too long. It's too long for you and it's too long for the person on the other side. Okay. Think about it as being in a real interview. If you ramble for 5 minutes, I'm going to tune you out at some point. So it's what you're saying in the beginning that's really important. In terms of revising, you normally get an option to revise once or twice. Will I know that you've revised from the interviews that I've seen on both sides of the screen? The answer is no. I don't know that you have revised. I only see the one that you are submitting as your final. But you only get a couple of opportunities to revise. One more thing about these video interviews is that when you get the link to do one, that link will normally expire within 48 hours. It is not normally renewable. So if you get the link to do it, do it. Okay. And remember, just as in a Zoom call or any other meeting, look at the camera. Okay. Because that's your only way of connecting. Here's one more thing that they won't tell you about video interviews. I'm looking for two things. Yes, I'm looking for your answer. But to be honest, your answer itself is not quite as important as the connection that you're trying to make with the camera. You've heard somebody say, make love to the camera, make love to the camera. Okay. I want to see you. The reason for doing those video interviews is, yes, that everybody gets asked the same question in the same order at the same time. But what I'm evaluating is the way you respond in that situation. I'm evaluating the answer, but I'm also evaluating your nonverbals. If you're not connecting with me, if you're reading, that's an automatic no. So even though it's hard, pretend that there's somebody else on the other side of the screen. In fact, here's what I recommend for that. Put a picture of a loved one behind your camera. Put a blank sticky, put something up there, put your notes up there so that you know what to look at. Okay. Yes, they're intimidating, but don't let it intimidate you that much. It's really more of a screening technique. And it's an easy way of helping to show what you can do, especially because you have that option of revising. One last thing, if they're giving you a timer and they're saying however many minutes it is, it will stop recording at whatever that timer is, even if you're in mid-sentence, mid-word. So shorter is better than longer.
I would also wrap up before the time to allow yourself some time. Like if you have a minute, starting maybe after 50 seconds, start, finishing it up or whatever it is, so you don't get cut off. So in case you have to add something, you have that ability to do that.
Absolutely. Okay. And remember, never memorize an answer. Okay. Never let I just write it for you. It always has to be you. Good luck, David. What kind of a job is it for? Can you unmute, David?
Okay, well, thank you for your excellent answer. You gave me a lot to think about as far as the length of questions, and it's shorter is better than longer. So thank you for that.
Okay,
And I
good.
like your idea about putting a picture of a loved one or your notes behind the camera. That because of my environment, I think I'd be able to do that pretty easily.
Excellent. And remember, when you're talking notes, you're talking a word or two to remind you, not whole words or phrases. Okay, not sentences. And when you're thinking about answers, you're thinking about answering in paragraphs, not pages.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
You've answered my question. Feel free to move on to the next person.
We're getting ready to do that. Let us know how it goes. Who's next, Sue?
Danielle S. I forgot to write down her last name. Sikorsky. maybe?
Danielle, can you raise your digital hand? It's you. Here you go, Danielle.
That's me.
Oh, it is Sikorsky. Thank you, Danielle.
Okay. Go right
Okay, should I
ahead.
start with my question?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
I recently had an interview, and after the interview, the interviewer asked me for my references, and luckily I had all of the information together, so I went ahead and sent everything to him because he asked for them. But I'm wondering if I should wait until the background check, if there is one, because then I can check with my references to make sure that they know that someone might be calling.
So you noticed a little bit of skepticism on all of our faces.
Yeah. I have been seeing more and more. I remember 6 months ago when someone told me they needed to add the references in when they applied, which puts a huge burden on references because it's easier now to reach out by email than in the old days when you had to phone them and ask them to fill in a form, on a paper. I think you have to be cautious. I'm not sure how the interviewer was looking at this. And what I think might be a way to say, I'm not ready yet, is to try to gauge from them their interest. Because I know that probably they're asking for it, like, I got to figure out if this person's going to be a good team player or something, or they're going to want to dig deeply. And if they want to do that, go on LinkedIn and figure out who employed me before and talk to them yourself, But I'm very cautious about asking references to do too much for us.
Mhm.
And so I
Mhm.
would say, in that case, I would have said, I need to let those references know that I'm actually in process, that it isn't just an application. I wouldn't be able to give you those until a few more days when I've notified them or something. Can you tell me where I am in the process? Something like that. And I'm sure Ken and Linda have better words than me, but I would put them off by just putting it on the references. We don't want to alienate these people getting lots of calls
No, I
and
just think
emails.
if you ask too many times, especially if you're applying for a lot of jobs, it just becomes you're drowning the references, and
Mhm.
you don't really want to do that. I mean, sometimes, and this is going to be the cynic in me, they may be looking for your references to see if they know other people who might be just as relevant for the job as you. You don't know, but I'm the cynic in this.
And
Go ahead.
Ken, that's not necessarily cynical, that's real.
Okay, I'm not from a
Okay,
recruiting
especially what we're
perspective.
talking about is an outside recruiter. So Danielle, was this an outside recruiter or an
Oh,
inside
yeah.
recruiter?
Good point.
No, this was the actual interviewer. He was the HR director.
Okay, and how far along in the process are you?
I had one interview.
Okay, contract role, temporary role, full-time?
And no, it's a full-time role.
Okay, so what I would do is definitely go back to them and ask their process. And you really don't want to just willy-nilly hand out your references. Your references are sales tools for you. You want to be able to contact them each and every time before you send them out. Yes, you've got your stable of people you can call on, but again, if you call on them too many times, okay, they're not going to be as willing to respond back. And you want to be able to contact them before you send them each and every time. Here's the job I'm looking for. Here's the specific area that they're looking at. Can you please speak to this in your reference? Here's what I really want you to do. So I would be very careful about that. But definitely reach back out to those references now if you haven't and said, by the way, I hope you don't mind, but here's what the job is. Here's what I'm looking for. You may be contacted. There are only, as far as I know, at least one type of job where a reference is absolutely required as part of an application. And that's for any job in education. It may also be required for any job at a government level that you at least provide those names. Doesn't mean that they're going to reach out to start with. What it means is that they want to have them on file so they don't have to ask you later in the process. Okay. So I would wait if you at all can. But the idea of not having to send them each and every time for a job that you don't really know how far along in the process you are, yeah, that could be a problem. For them, not for you. That help, Danielle?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Okay. Good
So
luck.
do you think
Yes, thank you.
in the situation you just had, you could have used one of these sample scripts? Do you think it was a situation where it wouldn't have put them off by you saying, I need to let them know or not? I'm just curious. I'm asking you because you've been through it and we're giving you alternatives.
I think I could have put him off. It sounded like he wanted the information right away, but I could have tried to put him off and at least delay a few days so that I can let my references know.
I mean, I
Yeah.
put in the chat that see if your references will write a recommendation for you on LinkedIn, and then that can be referred to anytime in any way. I mean, as a starting point.
Right. So that's a good thing. Make sure that you are at least a first level connection of all of you, the people you're listing as references. Because you can only get a recommendation on LinkedIn from a first level connection. But always reach out. And if you've already sent them, make sure that you do contact. But the idea of asking where you are in the process is also not a bad thing. You want to make sure that you're not sending that information future, okay, too soon in the process, because you don't want to overuse your references, even if they don't contact them. By the way,
Mhm.
similar idea. I had somebody reach out to me the other day and ask about a written letter of recommendation that they can send in along with an application. We used to do those years ago.
Yeah,
Please
but
don't.
no more. No.
Please don't. Number one, it makes you look desperate. Number one, it makes the other person who's providing that reference almost look as though they are doing it because they don't really want to be contacted and want to give you additional information. Okay, it's not dynamic. It is also something that we do not do anymore. The same way that we don't put on a resume references available upon request. It's that same process. Let us know what happens, Danielle.
Okay.
Okay. David, is David next or is it somebody else, Sue?
Let's see. It is Julie Marder and then Kristen L. Lambert. Kristen.
Okay, so Julie. You can,
Hi.
I'm looking
Thank
for your
you
digital. Can I find you? If somebody else can find her, help me.
I'm here. Oh, are you able to hear me? I unmuted.
There you go. I'm just looking to see whether is your picture on? Do you want to join us on screen?
Oh, I'm on screen. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, start asking your question while I try and
Okay.
find. Oh, there
Sure.
you are.
Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity. I am so stymied by the robots, the AI bots, whoever it is that is the first level gatekeeper. I can't seem to crack the code. I'm using AI to get what are supposed to be the right words in the application, in the resume. I even have a friend who is an internal referral who's referred me twice now. And both times I just cannot get past these robots. They're jobs I'm absolutely qualified for. One bounced me in 24 minutes. Like clearly I'm just stuck in a trap. Does this mean you just give up on the company, which is kind of ridiculous because I'm qualified for this job? How do I do it?
So when you say that it was bounced in 24 minutes, you're right. That was definitely a systems issue, not a person ever having the opportunity to take a look at it. May I ask you a quick question about your resume?
Sure.
Okay. What kind of a format are you using? I know you said you were using AI to try and find the right words.
So it's the same, I've used the same professional format now for quite a long time. I just changed the words so that it is meeting some of the keywords that seem to appear in the job description for each job that I apply to.
Okay. So are you highlighting the skills and experience up at the top of the page? Is it a format that has tables or text boxes?
No.
Okay, so it's just a plain
Word.
Perfect. Okay. So at least you're not having that system issue where somebody can't read it.
Right.
Okay. For the one where you were rejected in 24 minutes, I would reach out to see whether you can find the name of the recruiter. Have your contact, see whether they can find it. And then reach out to the hiring manager or the recruiter and say, I just wanted to let you know that I've applied for this. Same thing we told Lisa earlier. Wanted to let you know that I've applied for this role. Here's the reasons that I think I'm a great fit. Would you please take a look at my application? They will have access to it even if the system says no.
So it goes exactly to the point we just made too about the references. I have let the person who's the internal person there know that it happened. And she said she had reached out on my behalf. I'm protective of her too, right? Like I don't want to overburden her or put her in a bad spot. So how do I navigate this? If she's, been the intermediary, at least on one of the two roles, and we just kind of seem stuck.
Ken, you look like Ken, unmute.
Yeah, I know I was in the process of actually writing something, but then I was just, everything about this is it depends. You definitely got knocked out because of the AI. It could be that the AI from the applicant tracking system looked at your AI resume and found things in there and it just kind of put up a red flag.
Oh, most of the resume is not AI. Like
No, no,
90% of it's not.
but if you have words in there that are
Oh.
AI type words. No, I'm saying that
Oh,
because
really?
there are, if you go into AI, I mean, I at Leah Harrison, I see resumes left and right, and so many of them are AI type written. You know, it's the same words, it's the same cadence, and you may not realize it.
So how do you strike the balance? If you know a robot's reading your resume and you have to have the magic word, but some magic words are too magic, right? How do you know what's the magic word?
We're also, there is no one right. I mean, part of it is your specific accomplishments have to drive what you're doing, whatever they are. Um, you have to speak to specifics about the job, perhaps, but I think it's an AI world, and I think you have to work around AI as much as possible, whether it's reaching out to people at the company, finding a common connection on LinkedIn at the company that you're looking to go to, just networking in. I mean, this is unfortunately one of the things that we're up against. And, you know, Linda, you can speak as a recruiter, the frustrations that, you know, you get these resumes, they may not even match what the company wants because the job specs aren't even what they're looking for. I mean, but I would, you know, I have mixed feelings about AI. I think it's a great place to start if you've never worked on a resume, you need a starting
Mhm.
point, but it's a reference tool and you can't get caught up in the keywords of a job
No,
too
especially
much.
because AI will often point out those things that it thinks are important that hiring manager or recruiter really isn't looking for on a resume. So when you're thinking about those keywords, make sure that the hard skills are there.
I
Make
mean,
sure the experience is there.
Julie, if you want to send me your resume or Linda,
Yeah,
we'd all be
Thank you.
happy to look at it because there are probably some signs you may not be aware of.
exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, how do you, in the past, I hadn't used AI and I'd get bounced and people tell me you're not using the magic words. So I put what I think are magic words and I'm still getting bounced. And I just don't know how to avoid being
It
bounced.
could be bounced for something that has nothing to do with AI.
Correct.
It could be the fact that you have if it lists a salary, you're outside the salary range. It could be that you don't have one specific thing that's in their list of requirements. The point is you don't know. Is I guess what
Yeah.
we're all saying.
Now, one of the things that I want to talk to you about AI, and I'm doing a little more research on it, is that there are some states now that are starting to recognize that this is an issue. Illinois, for example, is in the process of implementing or developing a law that's going to say if AI is being used at any point in that employment process, I have to be able to let you know. Okay, so that you are aware of it and give you an option of opting out of that AI analysis. Okay, somebody mentioned in the chat, AI recognizes, even on an AI ATS system, it recognizes when something's written by AI. If a recruiter recognizes that something has that AI component, it will often push it out. Yes, Jonathan, I agree with you. It's much too new. AI is much too new for all states to implement it, and I'm not sure that they will because AI has become the darling. But
And
AI,
AI is a very generic term as it is. Um, and you may be thinking you're using one type and there may be another type another company's using. But the honest to God truth is most of these companies have no clue how to use AI and how to match their requirements to resumes. They don't know what to do.
right, which is why reaching out, whether you're applying directly, and by the way, I still recommend replying directly, and you've done it in this case, is reaching out not just to your contact because you've already done that to her, but reach out to the recruiter or hiring manager. I've applied for this position. Please take a look. Don't say it's been rejected. Okay. Give them again those one or two key points. Ask them to take a look. I'm looking forward to talking with you. Okay. It will never hurt you.
Right.
It may help. And I've seen several people who have done that, who've gotten the immediate rejection, but that reach out helps them to get reconsidered.
Thank you.
Next.
Okay, so the next two are Kristen Lambert and then David Spitz and then Brian
Okay.
M. Marchart and Lisa V. I'll keep you up to date, but we have several in the pipeline and a
So
really good chat going. So I appreciate
Yeah, I love
for
it. So by
everybody.
the way, that's a reminder. Make sure that you're writing things in the chat and not just, yes, this is great, but what was great? What did you think about it? So that when you go back and take a look at the chat or somebody else does, they pick up that same nugget that you did.
And if you
Okay.
connect with us and we don't get to your question, you have a question later on, that's an opportunity.
Exactly. And not only that, I'm going to be using some of these questions that we didn't get to, or maybe some of the other ones as posts and sharing them with other people. So even if we don't do it here, we can do it elsewhere.
Then you can engage on those posts as another means because you never know
Exactly.
if it's right. Yep.
Okay. By the way, unless you give me permission, I'm not ever going to tell somebody that you're the one who wrote the question. Okay. I want to protect you too. Okay. Excellent. All right. David.
Hey, how's everyone doing? So my question has to do about being long-winded, so I'll try not to be long-winded with my question to you. But I had a pretty busy week with 3 interviews, actually 4 interviews in the last 5 business days.
Wow.
Yay.
It was busy. It was very stressful. A lot of prep, a lot of some anxiety, and now I'm waiting for next steps. Right. 2 of the interviews were well, they're all virtual, but 2 of them were panel interviews. And Linda, I know you and I talked about this last week for a little bit. One of them was with 6 people, and that's the one I want to touch on a little bit. It was my first interview with this company. I was really excited about it. 6 people on the call, and they completely bypassed any questions about tell me about yourself or an opportunity to do any type of introduction. I kind of feel like they kind of, hopefully they did their homework. I had to submit a case study, so they already had that information. They had my resume. I reached out on LinkedIn to all the people I was meeting with. I sent them little requests and say, hey, I'm excited to meet with you on Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Some of them accepted it. Some of them did not accept it, whatever. So hopefully they did their homework. But they started diving right into the questions, and they were all behavioral, situational. Tell me about a time about this. But they were like 4 or 5 part questions. They wanted to know a lot of details, results, metrics. How did I think about things? And so my responses were long-winded. I definitely went past that 2-minute mark, and it was probably somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes. But I had my SOAR stories, like my STAR stories, whatever you want to call it. And I was kind of going through that framework and making sure that I was really touching on everything and kind of having some pauses along the way and hopefully nice transitions to that next component. So I just hope that doesn't backfire at the end of the day during that hour-long interview. But again, I also just wanted to kind of share what I felt was a pattern now of really, like, once an interview starts, that they're diving in and wanting to get to know you and like those technical hard skills. I mean, they barely touched on soft skills at all. So that's just kind of like my update.
Mm-hmm. So your soft skills, you're demonstrating as you talk in many cases. So I wouldn't worry that they didn't specifically ask unless the job is just straight management kind of a role. Okay. Panel interviews are tougher. It's hard to know who to talk to. It's hard to know where to focus. So there are pros and cons of them. One of which is everybody hears the same answer at the same time. So they don't have to, when they're comparing notes, they don't have to compare so many different ideas and angles. They're all hearing it. And one question normally then will build off another. So that's not a bad thing. Especially when a panel interview is people from different departments. Were these different departments? Were they all the same department?
They were all part of the same, like, larger organization, but sat within different verticals.
Okay, so that means that you're meeting all of them, and they were looking to see how well you not only interact with each of them, but also how well what you're saying will be useful in all of those areas, not just their own. So it helps them remove those silos too in their conversations afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand that questions and answers can be longer. I would still be careful about rambling. Because you can always give you the answer and then say, would you like me to continue, or is there something else you'd like me to focus on? If you've got a 7-minute conversation or a 7-minute ramble, 7-minute answer from you, they may lose where you started.
Yeah, it was nice actually because they were very long questions and 4 or 5 part questions. After the question was asked, they put it in the chat.
Perfect.
So I was able to kind of go back and reference it. And then so I looked over at one point. I'm like, okay, I think I touched on all those, and there's one more thing I did want to add to it. And then so I did, and then twice it actually there were some follow-up questions based on what I was talking about. So I thought that was really helpful, and that number one, they were paying attention. Number two, they hopefully liked what I was saying. They wanted me to build on it a little bit more,
which was perfect. And so when you're thinking about it, and there are 4 or 5 questions as part of one question, don't worry about it being 7 minutes because you're answering 4 or 5 questions. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Lisa. Kristen Lambert's next.
Okay. I'm looking, Kristen, is your digital hand up so I can find you, or somebody else can find you to add you as we're talking?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
There she is. Okay. Uh-huh.
Thank you all for having this and for allowing us to take up some of your time. I'm at the very beginning of my career search. I had put in the chat earlier, but I just graduated with my PhD from Rutgers. And thank you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted.
And I hope this isn't too obvious of a question, but I am interested, I'm interested in going into industry and like life sciences, pharma, biotech. But I'm also interested in like small startups. And other than, of course, like doing a Google search of like what like smaller, newer companies there are in the area, I was wondering if there's like a more creative way to find startups that might not have as much of an online presence and like inquire if they have like positions that again might not be posted publicly.
And you've done some work on that, haven't you?
Yeah, I would always do searches online for like the top 50 companies in whatever the vertical is, in whatever the state is, or whatever the industry is, and see what shows up, or the top 25, or whatever, however you want to quantify that. Just use that and you'll find the names there, and you can cross-reference and look on LinkedIn or other places to see who the people are at the companies. I mean, that's one thing I suggest that all the time, because I get the old, like, when people say target companies, they say, I want to work at Google or Meta. Well, that's wonderful, so is the world. So I always recommend that they go to these smaller companies, and you can do it as specifically as you want. But I would use criteria like that to help you out a lot.
I think you can also then take that list and put it into your favorite AI and start digging, have AI dig according to your criteria, not to generally the top 5 or whatever, because then it can tell you, please rank them in phase of startup, because those are kinds of things that are hard to find out without reading a whole website, whereas AI can tell you this is evolving. They just got a whole lot of VC from Mark
This is where AI is a great reference tool.
Yeah.
I mean, I just said look up online, just ask AI in some cases.
Right. And here's another thing that you can do. Don't hesitate to reach out to other people to ask you for ideas. So for example, I don't know where you're located, but your local reference librarian will probably have a business section, and they would be able to tell you that. Reach out to the local small business administration. They will have some ways of helping you find some of those companies as well.
Subscribe to a business newsletter. Listen to CNBC or Bloomberg or whatever as part of what you're doing. I mean, again, these are all just things to think about.
But there are lots of ways of trying to find those companies. And I love the idea of looking at those smaller startups, not necessarily because they have posted or unposted jobs, but I would actually just start out by, talking about what they're doing and how excited about it. Okay. And one of the reasons that I got into or took the PhD in such and such was to be able to learn more about and to get more involved in, not asking specifically for a job to start with, but to develop those relationships. Once you find those companies, as Ken and Sue have said, comment on their posts on LinkedIn. They're going to be active here, okay, in all likelihood. So that's another way of doing it. And good luck for getting, and congratulations on the PhD. I know how tough that is. So does Sue.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your answers too. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Next is Brian Marchart. Brian, tell us how you say your last name.
Mackhart.
Mackhart, okay.
I had a question, I guess, just in terms of, we were talking earlier about references, and it brought up recently I had spoken with well, I guess they're national, recruiting firm or staffing firm, that, that has contract roles that they place, people like, myself as a product owner, BAs, project managers at, medium and
Yeah.
large companies. And I had met with the kind of the, I don't know, regional manager, and then, he was passing my information along, to some of his staff. But what surprised me is like a day later, I got an email from somebody, from from the firm asking for 6 references, um, 3 supervisors and 3 peers. And I'm just wondering if that's unusual because they hadn't presented me a single opportunity yet to even review for a contract position. So I just blew it off because until I'm, about to be offered a position or, at least long in the interviewing effort, I just don't really want to, expose my references.
And that's not a bad thing. But I would go back to them and I wouldn't blow them off specifically. I would go back and say, I'm happy to send you references for a specific opportunity. Okay, but let's continue the conversations.
Yeah, okay. And then just a quick win.
Yes.
Last Thursday, I was contacted by an internal recruiter who found my LinkedIn and wanted to have a conversation about a position they just opened. I had that conversation with her yesterday, and she said I would hear from her, by the end of the week, if I was moving along. And in fact, I was contacted her during this call, and so I have to schedule time with the hiring manager for the next interview.
Wonderful.
Yay, that's great.
So
And
let me
so-
ask, go ahead.
And I have a question related to that. So when I call her back and everything, is it always okay to ask who that hiring manager is so that I can find some information on them?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And tell her that that's the reason you want to do it is you want to, not that you want to find out the information, you don't want all the inside scoop, but you want to see a little bit about their background and the kinds of things that might be their areas of interest or their things that they're most concerned about. So you know how to help them in the interview.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Now let me ask you a question. Okay. You said the recruiter reached out to you on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Okay. Tell us a little bit. Do you have the green banner on? Have you got a lot of the skills that they were looking for highlighted in your profile? How did they tell you how they found you?
I didn't ask. I do not have the green banner on, although I do have indicated, open to new opportunities. So, recruiters can find me that way in LinkedIn. I think it had more to do with the sector or, the industry because it's transportation. So
Okay.
this is a transportation company that, I've worked for a couple in the past. So I'm not saying that's a small industry, but it's somewhat unique. So
It is.
I
And
think
so
that helps.
that's the importance of getting those keywords into your LinkedIn profile, making sure that
Okay.
it's fully developed so that we can find you. That's great. Thank you. By the way, the open to work, if it is open to work to recruiters only, that information only goes to about a third of the recruiters using LinkedIn.
Mm,
Okay. Because only a third of those recruiters or less are actually paying for LinkedIn Recruiter.
okay. Good to know.
Okay. But just so that you know. Okay.
Wait,
Good luck.
so can I ask a
Thank
question
you.
about that? So
I have no idea who this is.
I'm Rhonda. I just wanted to, so what do you think about how to position yourself on LinkedIn? I had someone told me to take off your open for work now and again to get more eyes, looks, higher ranking, back and forth, or just wanted to pop that question in.
We were talking about that this morning on LinkedIn, Ken.
Well, yeah, we've been talking about, I mean, open to work is only a small part of it, whether you keep it on or off. It's really more about how you engage.
Yes.
And there's no one right or wrong. I mean, it's playing a game. I am not a big proponent of having the open to work frame on myself, only because of the incessant spamming. Um, I've been playing around with, as you know, Linda, the idea of having a different banner with different wording on there, and you're right. On mobile it may not render properly, but even if you did open to work with a different color and you took the settings off, that would make a big difference in terms of how you're going to be spammed. I mean, sometimes it's a little thing like that.
And so Ken and I differ on this one. I'm a proponent of the open to work.
Mhm.
Okay. Because I've seen too many cases where people have actually used it and been found. Okay. Whether it's being found by a recruiter or a networking contact. And several people have told me that they've actually gotten jobs specifically because of those contacts with the open to work. I agree. The open to work banner can leave you open to spam.
Mhm.
However, one of the things, and I have to do some additional checking on this, it's not just the banner, because I can't do a specific search on the banner. It's that hashtag open to work that is part of that standard LinkedIn post when you put on that banner. That's what people can search for. That's what seems to be triggering the spam. So if you're doing the open to work banner, it spreads it out to the network. It's easy for you to be found, but take that hashtag out of the post, write your own post to go along with it.
But I would also say, whether you do it or not, you have to let the world know you're open to work. Don't just let the open to work speak for itself, which is the mistake a lot of people make.
Absolutely right.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Okay,
Sorry.
on to Lisa V and then Jason Lewis. Those are our last two questions, at least from the chat.
Lisa.
Piggybacking off of the open to work, do you suggest that every once in a while I post something and then basically say I'm open to work? Do a post and maybe at the end, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. But I would say,
So-
here's for my next opportunity in.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's how you phrase it.
Right.
But absolutely, because you want to draw attention, because you don't know who's going to see the post now versus the time before. You
Right.
can to a much different audience. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And so, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
come on, Lisa.
My actual question that I put in the chat is there's a couple times where I've applied for positions and it said, do you want to opt out of the AI reading this? Yes, I do. Okay. And why would that even be there?
Same thing as on LinkedIn. You're training their AI,
Yes,
Okay.
which is what
Okay.
collaborative articles did a while ago.
right? And what
Okay.
LinkedIn is doing now with your posts and comments. So if you haven't done it yet, I know LinkedIn said that where it had to have been by the 4th, you can still go in and change your settings. Go into your privacy settings on LinkedIn. Okay. And
Okay.
it says, I don't remember the exact wording, but it's settings and privacy. And then there's something about how LinkedIn can use your information.
Okay.
Do not allow them to use your information to train their AI.
Okay.
Or let Microsoft use your information. I would
Exactly. However,
And I just want to make the point, this is different from the ATS scanning it. The ATS scanning it is much more about automation, looking for things. That's
Right.
not AI. That's what Lisa's referring to is
Right.
when
Okay.
then they're taking the underlying, the whole data and using it however they want to use it, not just what you applied for.
So opting out will not say that your resume won't be scanned and won't be pulled. It means that the information won't be put into their system to build their system.
Okay. Do they really want to build from me?
They want to build from anybody they can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Great. Thank you. That answers my question.
okay. Next,
Jason Lewis.
Jason, are you still here?
I'm here. Yeah. So this is more a question regarding AI, but also kind of the historical aspects of what recruiters have done for years using Boolean searches to find candidates in an ACS system. But kind of changing the topic of conversation. So my question is, and I don't know if there actually is an answer, when will ATS systems stop using keywords? So specifically, when recruiters go in and use Boolean searches to find people, the Boolean search is looking for keywords. I think that process simplifies the process for the recruiter and makes it more efficient. But it just seems in today's day and age with AI very old school. So just throwing it out there, maybe more for recruiters, for you guys, as well as generally with AI existent today, and with AI already being incorporated in that process, do you think that the whole Boolean search, keyword search process will eventually change?
Well, eventually, yes. Eventually, in the next 6 months, no, because they've invested a ton of money in an ATS framework that they've then adapted for their own company. Maybe a year, maybe longer. It just depends on how good AI is, because remember, everything they're building on is when the last scraping that AI model used. So they're going to have to constantly be updating. I mean, it's kind of like LinkedIn every so often glitches because they're having to change the spaghetti mess of 2003 forward of building a database and Access and then doing this and doing that. And so, I love the question and possibilities you're bringing up, but right now it's not something, unless there's some huge shift in AI suddenly, it is not going to happen in
They're
6
probably
months
going to
or
need
a
people
year.
that can actually look at the information
Yeah.
and analyze the information. It's one thing to do and have an LLM model that builds it, but someone has to know what the result is of that.
Yes.
And that's going to be a future opportunity, I think.
I think that's absolutely right. And so we have to remember, and companies are starting to remind themselves again, that hiring is a human process. Okay. So do I think that AI is going to be used without the human element? I think there's some companies that are hoping it will be. But I think the smart companies are recognizing that that's not necessarily the case. You still need those human eyes on it.
It can't just be, there has to be a human aspect to intangibles. AI can't factor in tone and intangibles. It's
It
just,
can't. And AI can't evaluate the accomplishments that you're putting up there. AI can't evaluate your experience. It can count the number of years, okay, the same way LinkedIn can, but it can't evaluate the value of that experience. You could have been doing the same.
Because it has to compare it to what the hiring manager needs, what HR is allowed to do, what the company's mission is. I mean, it's a huge.
3 years at one company may not match 3 years at another company based on the company's size or based on what the company's looking for. You can't put it into a thing.
The same way the job titles aren't equivalent from company to company. So you really do have to be careful for that. So do I think that the keyword search or that Boolean search is going to go away? I honestly don't, either on LinkedIn or elsewhere. Okay. And I know Erin had one last question. I appreciate all of those you who've stuck around. We'll answer her question and we will keep trying to do the rest. But for those of you who have to leave, remember, copy the chat. There are two ways to do it. One is to click into the chat, click select all, copy and do it for yourself. The other is to go up to the top where it says Career Search Lunch and Learn, click those 3 dots and click save. Okay. I will also post it in the private group, but I want to do that. Okay. If you have questions, comments, concerns, if you have ideas for us, please do let us know so that we can continue to plan. Okay, Erin.
Thanks. Did we lose Sue?
She did. She had to leave.
Okay, well, maybe my question was kind of for her, but I want to see what you guys think too. She referenced something about just the job market changing even in the last few months. What are the biggest things you guys are seeing there? It's a loaded question, but
yeah. So she was mentioning that even resumes have changed in the last couple of months. Okay. So resume format is still the same in the sense that you want to make sure that you're highlighting your skills and accomplishments outside of the jobs themselves. Highlight them at the top. What she was referencing specifically was the fact that the title on your resume should be different each time. And it's the title of the position at this company.
Oh, I've been doing that. Okay, good.
I mean, I worry about AI taking over the resumes and how people are going to actually write the resumes. And I think too many people are looking for an easy fix.
Yep.
I mean, we see that at Lee Act Harrison all the time. People have actually sent resumes to us and put in the comments, this was done with AI. What do you think? No, I'm serious. And it's like, yeah, it looks like an AI resume. Congratulations. But I mean,
Right.
that's the world we live in. You have to kind of think of ways around it. You know,
Right.
it's a crutch and it's not a good crutch.
And that's actually a great way of phrasing it. It is a crutch. People think of it as the easy way. It's a great tool for research. It's a great tool for that. But please, 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 I can't emphasize this enough. Do not let AI either write your resume or your cover letter. And yes, cover letter every time. Okay? Cover letter tells me who you are, not just what you've done.
You can use LinkedIn, you can use AI to give you the start of an about section if you quantify what you want in the about section. If you feed information there, that's a great tool. Let it, and then may ask you follow-up questions after that. And
Right.
then use that to even go further.
So that's that whole idea. AI should not write for you, but it's a great research tool. Great starting point. But it has to be you. Because when I hire somebody, I hire you, I don't hire your AI.
Sure.
Not only that, resumes written by AI, cover letters written by AI, all tend to look the same. If it's giving you that answer, it's giving somebody else the same answer too.
Yeah, that makes sense. But if you give it a starting point and say, here, can you just help me with some tweaks, then it's less likely to do that.
Think about it from the perspective of a student giving a term paper. And multiple people go online and they get some information. And then they do the same type of term paper basically with the same sort of information they got. I mean, are you plagiarizing with AI? No, but it's pretty obvious to a recruiter that sees the same thing again and again that it's been done the same way.
Right. And I want to know what makes you stand out, not what AI says, because AI is going to say the same thing for everybody in general terms.
Okay, that's helpful.
I mean, you could even ask AI go into AI, see what they know about you. Or go into perplexity.io and see what comes back when you do a search.
Mm-hmm.
It might be surprised.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. All right. Thank you all. I know we've run a little over. Ken, thank you so much for
Sure.
doing this and sticking with us.
Sure.
For all the rest of you, if you have additional questions we haven't gotten to yet, please add them in the chat, again, with the word question. Be happy to reach out and try and answer those either in our private group or in a post. Okay.
Or just follow up with us.
Absolutely. So Ken and I and Sue, we all put into the chat the fact that you can contact us. We're
Yeah.
happy to do that. Okay,
Absolutely.
please do. We're here, we're doing this because we want to help you.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so. And happy to do that. Anything else we can answer for anybody before we go? Thank you all for joining us. Please join us again. And again, please share your comments, your ideas. I really want to have those. I want to make sure that we're doing this for everybody that makes sense. For those of you who are still here, I have a quick question. I'm going to put it in the private group as well. Okay. We run into a couple of Wednesdays that are day before holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you want us to do them? I know they'll be smaller and that's okay. But if you'd like to do something, so we do a little bit of networking, we do a little bit of sharing and focus more on those than formal messaging, let me know. Okay. But again, speaker idea in the chat. Program idea, all caps in the chat so that I can find them. Question, all caps in the chat. And I know that we forgot to introduce somebody who is new. We'll try and do that again. Okay, perfect. Oh, I see lots more questions in here. Okay, so Julie, are you still here? Yes. Okay.
Yes, I'm here, and I have so many questions. I didn't want to take over the conversation. But I guess the big thing I'm really contending with is how do we we only get one shot with our resume and our cover letter. And if first we have to get past the robots and then we have to impress the humans, it really feels like we're writing for two different audiences. How do you, because you've got to get the magic words in, but you've also got to, make yourself stand out as unique. And you also know that at least, I don't know, 50% of the time, whatever the percentage is, you're going to get bounced no matter how hard you try, no matter how well you write. So how do we, not spend half a day on each application and then 20 minutes later get bounced? And navigate this field here, because it seems like so many things are just like a potential time suck.
Yeah, they are. Ken, you want to start?
I'm not sure how to start, actually.
Okay.
I'm not a big proponent of applying online right off the bat. I'm a big believer in networking and asking people about jobs. Maybe you find a job online, reach out to someone first about the job, and then they may say to apply online after that. I think it's a real time suck just to apply to jobs online as a first step.
Interesting.
And a lot of people do. And I'm a different view. From if I'm putting on my recruiter hat, okay, my goal, my metric is to get candidates to a hiring manager quickly. So if you wait too long to apply until you find that networking contact, you may have gone in when I'm already in the process.
But how do you know when a job is online how long it's been posted?
Right.
How do you know if it was reposted after 60 days or 90 days? That's where I come from. I don't know how long the job's been out there. I don't know if it was an internal job that they've now moved out after a week or 2 weeks to the whole world. So that's why I'm a big proponent of just the networking part first. Again, you and I, and this is great, like I said before, to have different perspectives. It's not a right or wrong.
And that's exactly right. The answer to most of these questions is it depends.
Depends.
Okay.
But I guess it's just a matter of how does one budget their time, right? In this world. I'm sorry, I'm seeing the comments come up and I'm intrigued by that too.
No, it's okay.
I don't know how to develop the strategy around it, because it's exactly to your point. I spent half a day crafting the perfect resume and cover letter for a job, only to discover the next day that it was gone. Like, well, that was a waste of time.
What field are you interested in? Let's start with that. What's your field?
I'm a square peg in a round hole. I'm in healthcare. I'm an attorney by training, but I've worn various hats in operations, and that's what I prefer doing.
Why would you consider going to a Chamber of Commerce event, a small business networking event, and networking there? Again, I'm just saying it's something different.
An industry event.
An industry event.
An association event.
An alumni event from your school.
Contact with people there to try and find out what their resources are. In terms of how do you know how long a position has been open or whether it's been open? You know that if it's on a company's website, it's probably still in process. Speaking again internally, when I'm ready to make an offer, I take that position down. I have to. Okay, otherwise I'm going to continue to get inundated, and it's internally part of my metrics is how quickly I can fill those positions. But we know that recruiters are hurting in terms of the amount of time that they're having to spend in all of this. So targeting, absolutely. When you're thinking about it, are you targeting the company? Are you targeting the position? Are you targeting the recruiter? You're targeting the AI? The answer is all of it. Because you're really writing one resume and you're doing it. Jason asked earlier about that idea of Boolean search. That's basically what this is all about. And think about doing a Boolean search with my eyes for the candidate that's going to meet my needs. If you're putting those keywords in there, if you're putting those accomplishments, those highlights in that talk about that, those things that you know are important for that job, that's what's going to be important. Your basic resume, the experience section is probably not going to change much. It's that top piece, right? The highlights that you're pulling out, the accomplishments, the summary, and those skills are that expertise.
It can be daunting. No, we're not here to say it's easy and there's no one right way to do it.
No. Okay. But we're happy to talk to you about it.
I
Okay.
mean,
Thank
well,
you.
we're happy to have a conversation. I mean, there's an emotional aspect to this. It's a process, and sometimes it takes longer than others. I mean, it's that the. I mean, I love Linda's group for this reason because we go on all different tangents, and that's a good
Yeah.
thing.
That is one of the things. If you're new to the group, you will find that we don't always stick to the topic.
No.
But that's because we're here to help you. And sometimes the topic is going to lead us in different directions. And my feeling is that that's much more important than sticking to the rules.
And my caveat is that the advice we're giving is very general and is we can't be specific because we don't know everyone's situation and it's
Exactly.
not to pry, but it's just to try to be helpful the best way we can.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right, I have to jump now.
Yeah, I do too, actually. So anything else that we can answer that I can answer for you very quickly before I turn this off? Okay, do remember to take the copy of the chat. I'm going to turn off the recording.